Namaste to all. I am Battul Venkateshwarlu, your instructor for this Telugu language course. In today's session, we will dive into an important aspect of Telugu, its rich cultural vocabulary that brings our traditions vividly to life. Introduction. Every language in the world has its own special words and expressions. These words are closely connected to the culture, traditions, and daily life of the people who speak that language. Such words and expressions are called cultural vocabulary. Meaning of the cultural vocabulary. Cultural vocabulary refers to words that are specific to a particular language and culture. These words often do not have exact equivalent in other languages because they express ideas, relationships, customs, and emotions unique to that community. Usage in communication. People who belongs to the same mother tongue naturally use cultural vocabulary in their daily conversations. These words are easily understood by native speakers because they share the same cultural background and experiences. Role of the speaker and listener. Cultural vocabulary can be effectively used only when both the speaker and the listener belongs to the same language community. One of them does not share the same cultural knowledge, the meaning of such expressions may be misunderstood or lost. Finally, thus, cultural vocabulary play an important role in communication within the language community. It strengthens cultural identity and makes interaction more natural and meaningful among native speakers. The related vocabulary is Sonta means own. Ammagaru, which means madam, when used respectfully to address a woman. Ayyagaru, sir. Nenu vastanu, which means I'll come. Manchidi, which means good. Based on the above vocabulary, now we have to construct the conversation part. Hereafter the conversation, I am going to explain here a classroom friendly conversation constructed using cultural vocabulary, suitable for teaching students. The context assumes both speakers belongs to the same language community. So, cultural expressions are naturally used. Conversation. Use of cultural vocabulary. In this section, the meanings of the words will be explained, followed by the examples of related vocabulary. Such cultural vocabulary is up in different situations according to the context. Now we will see the first one. Swanta means own. We will discuss vocabulary items used to denote objects. Sonta karu, which means own car. Sonta illu, which means own house. Sonta polam, which means own farm. In Telugu, the lexical term sonta functions as a possessive or relational modifier and is productively attested with both common and proper noun in everyday discourse, subject to contextual and pragmatic necessity. Formal linguistics description. The Telugu lexical item sonta functions as a relational modifier that encodes inherent position and kinship proximity. In kinship constructions, sonta is used to explicitly mark a biologically direct and socially unquestioned relationship, distinguishing it from extended classificatory or metaphorical kinship relations. Semantically, sonta contributes an intensification and contrastive feature, signaling that the referent belongs to the speaker's immediate kin network. Pragmatically, its use conveys emotional certainty, pride, and strong effective alignment with the referent. The presence of sonta reduces potential ambiguity regarding kinship status and strengthens the speaker's commitment to the truth of the relationship. From a discourse perspective, sonta operates as a foregrounding device, bringing a relational culture integrity to prominence. It is frequently employed in context where speakers anticipate doubt, comparison, or social evolution. thereby reinforcing legitimacy and closeness. Examples with linguistics explanation. Immediate kinship, అన్న వచ్చాడు means elder brother came. సొంత అన్న వచ్చాడు, my own elder brother came. The addition of sonta explicitly excludes classificatory or metaphorical readings. Contrastive emphasis in discourse, అతను నా అన్న కాదు, సొంత అన్న వేరే, which means he is not my brother, my own brother is someone else. Sonta functions constructively to distinguish true kinship from socially labeled relations. Emotional assertion is ఆమె నా సొంత చెల్లెలు, which explain that she is my own younger sister. The construction encodes emotional attachment and certainty. Pragmatic reinforce in social interaction, సొంత తమ్ముడినే నేను చూసుకుంటాను, which means I take care of my own younger brother. Here, sonta reinforce moral responsibility and relational obligation. Disambiguation in extended kinship extends context. అన్నయ్యలు చాలామంది ఉన్నారు, కానీ సొంత అన్న ఒకరే, which means that there are many elder brothers but only one biological brother. Sonta restricts reference to a unique biologically defined individual. Here the linguistic summary is future functions of sonta, semantic marks in label position, pragmatic express emotional certainty and pride. Discourse foregrounds rational authenticity, cultural distinctions between biological and social kinship. The following concept is నేను వస్తాను, which means I'll come. Here I am providing another beautiful and accurate insight into the heart of Telugu communication. This is a perfect example of how a simple phrase carries a universe of unspoken cultural meaning. Let's develop and expand. నేను వస్తాను. Here the core concept is I will come versus until we meet again. The direct dictionary meaning is simple future action, I'll come. But in daily Telugu life, it primarily functions as a soft, warm and culturally prescribed farewell. It's the equivalent of saying, I'll see you, I will be back, until the next time. It implies a continuation of the relationship and the interaction rather than a final ending. The expanding of the context, the art of the Telugu exists. The examples are spot on. Let's see how it works in different scenarios. The standard polite farewell, leaving a friend's house or a shop or a casual meeting. The phrase, అయితే నేను వస్తాను. Meaning and feeling, all right, then I will take my leave hits non-abrupt, shows you enjoyed the time and promises a future connection. The other person typically responds with, సరే వెళ్ళిరా, which means, okay, go and come back. Living home or work or children living parents, the phrase, అమ్మ నేను వస్తాను. Conceptual meaning and effective value, it's a promise of return, a reassurance of safety. It says, don't worry, I will come back to you. It's a far more affectionate and reassuring than a built I am living, which means that నేను వెళ్తున్నాను. A decision at work is over or a request at a government office is completed. The using praise, the office or clerk might say, చేస్తాము మీరు వెళ్ళండి నేను వస్తాను. Meaning and feel, we will do it, you may go. Here నేను వస్తాను, it's not about them coming anywhere, but a polite way to close the interaction on their end. It's a formalized, gentle dismissal that maintains harmony. Yes, correct. This phrase is used identically by men and women. The verb vastanu is the first person singular future form, which means I'll come, for all speakers in standard Telugu. See the cultural inputs here. When you say nenu vastanu, you are the implicitly agreeing to a social contract that values the relationship over the transaction. You are acknowledging that this is not the last interaction. In contrast, a simple boy or vidkolu can feel more final and less invested. The response complete the ritual. The farewell is a two-part ritual. Person A, నేను వస్తాను, I will come or see you. Person B, సరే వెళ్ళిరా or వెళ్ళి రండి. It means okay or go and come. It is going apply for a formal or informal. This exchange in reinforce mutual care and the expectation of future meeting. The emotional weight in absence. This praise gains profound weight when someone doesn't get to say it. In cases of sudden departure or tragedy, the regret of often expressed as ఆయన or ఆమె నేను వస్తాను అని కూడా చెప్పలేదు, which explore that he or she didn't even get to say I will come. This highlights its role as a necessary comforting closing ritual. Nouns with ra or randi you might also hear vastara. It's a more informal, affectionate, used with close friends, younger people. Vastarandi, a polite imperative meaning please do come, used as an invitation, not farewell. What you gain here is perfectly identified a cultural keystone phrase. Nenu vastanu is the lubricant of social departure in Telugu culture. It's the linguistic equivalent of a gentle nod and a warm smile while stepping away. Mastering its use shows you understand that in Telugu society, how you live is just as important as how you arrive. It transforms a simple exist into an expression of respect, continuity and connection. It's not goodbye. It's see you later woven into the fabric of language itself. Next, the cultural phrase is manchidi, which means good. Now we will go to the explanation part. Is manchidi functions as the essential conversational partner to nenu vastanu. This pairing is a classic example of Telugu's ritualistic and harmony-focused dialogue structure. The ritual pairing, a cultural handshake, is exactly right. This is not just two random phrases. It's a culturally scripted exchange that properly closes an interaction. The sequence, person A, నేను వస్తాను, which means I'll take my leave or I'll see you. Cultural intent signals the end of the current meeting while affirming the continuity of the relationship. Person B, manchidi, it conveys good or okay or all right. Here the cultural intent grants permission, acknowledges the leave taking and reciprocates the goodwill. It's the verbal seal of approval on the departure. Why this pairing is special? It turns a simple exist into a naturally agreed upon conclusion. Nothing is left hanging. It maintains saukyam, social comfort and harmony. Both parties end on a positive consensual note. The responder holds a slight position of social authority in that moment by giving the manchidi, blessing for the other to leave. Example, an action at a friend's house, the guest will say, అయితే సీత నేను వస్తాను. Okay Sita, I will take my leave. The host will reply, మంచిది రామ్, జాగ్రత్తగా వెళ్ళిరా, which means good, Ram, go safely and come back. This exchange feels complete, warm and proper. Deep dive మంచిది. As an encouragement, it conveys to go ahead. When someone is about to start something new, a job, a project, an exam, saying manchidi is the standard all-purpose pep talk. Observe the cultural logic here. In this context, it doesn't just mean good. It's a condensed way of saying it is good that you are doing this. This venture is a good one. You have my blessing or support. Go ahead with my good wishes. It functions as a verbal thumbs up that combines approval, encouragement, and a hope for success. Starting a new job on the first day. ఈరోజు నా కొత్త ఉద్యోగంలో మొదటి రోజు. Which explore that today is my first day at my new job. Well-wisher says, మంచిది, అభినందనలు. That is wonderful and great. Congratulations. Here the exemplicity means that is a good thing. Key grammatical distinctions are brought out. మంచి, the adjective is good. మంచి plus the, మంచిది, it is good. The is the singular neuter predicate marker, turning the quality into a statement about a situation or thing. This is why it works so well as a complete response. It's full of sentence in one word. Context phrase used, cultural meaning in English, equivalent, which means feeling. As a response to farewell, నేను వస్తాను, and మంచిది, permission, acknowledgement, mutual goodwill, which explore that, all right then, and sure, see you. As encouragement to someone starting something, manchidi, approval, blessings, support for the endeavor. It conveys, go for it, that's great, good luck. Final thought, by understanding these paired rituals, నేను వస్తాను plus మంచిది, and the encouraging మంచిది, you are learning more than words. The next culture word is అమ్మగారు, which means madam. When used respectively to address a woman, core construction and literal meaning is amma means mother. Garu, the universal honorific suffix in English like Mr. and Mrs., but more respectful. Ammagaru, the vocative case is used for directly calling or addressing someone. The standard form is Ammagaru, respected mother. The cultural weight behind madam, while madam is a functional English equivalent, it falls short of capturing the emotional and social gravity of Ammagaru. The ultimate feminine respect, this is the highest form of addresses for a woman in general Telugu society, surprising even madam or garu alone. It doesn't just show respect, it shows reverence. It places the woman in the societal role of nurturing, wise, and benevolent elder women of the family. Not just for superiors, but for all esteemed women. While used for superiors, its use is broader and more. The context-sensitive aspect in that for an elderly neighbor and elderly woman in the street, even if she is not personally known, may respectful addressed as Ammagaru when asking for directions. This form of address is socially appropriate, conveys deep respect, and is considered safe in public interaction. For a teacher and guru's wife, she is often addressed as Ammagaru, acknowledging her shared status in the Guru Sishya Parampara. In retail service with older customers, a young shopkeeper might say, Ammagaru, em kavali? Madam, what do you need? This elevates the transaction. For a lady of the house, when visiting a friend's home, addressing his mother as Ammagaru is expected and shows good upbringing. The scared and the spiritual, This term seamlessly bridges the social and the divine. It is commonly used to address female, temples rituals, specialists, or spiritual figures. Many goddesses like Ammavaru are referred to with this root, linking the concept of the divine mother directly to this word. Age is a primary factor. It is most commonly used for middle-aged and elderly women. Using it for a very young woman might seem oddly formal or even sarcastic unless in a very hierarchical setting. For example, a young IAS officer is being addressed by a much older subordinate. The respect boundary is used across a respect boundary from younger to older, junior to senior, student to teacher, servant to employer, and public to official. The vocative power ending "u" as in Ammagaru is crucial. It's the calling form. Use it to go get attention or address directly. In a sentence about her, ఆ అమ్మగారు చాలా దయగలవారు. That madam is very kind. To call her, అమ్మగారు ఇది మీ కాఫీ. Madam, here your coffee. However, Ammagaru often carries a softer, more affectionate connotation than its male counterpart, reflecting the cultural archetype of the mother as the accessible, forgiving, and loving heart of the home and society. A word of caution in very contemporary urban and professional settings among peers, Ammagaru might feel too traditional or age appropriate. In such cases, Madam or simply Garu after the name. For example, Sita Garu is often preferred. Using Ammagaru shows deep cultural grounding but must be matched with the social context. Finally, the embodiment of Maryada, Ammagaru is the more than vocabulary. It is the practice of Maryada, respect, propriety, and boundary directed towards women. It instantly communicates respect for her age and position, recognition of inherent dignity, an acknowledgement of the maternal principle she represents in the culture. By understanding and using this term appropriately, you don't just call someone madam. You place her within a revered cultural archetype and demonstrate that you understand the profound Telugu value of honoring the feminine as the source of care, wisdom, and facilitation. It is in many ways the ultimate cultural complement. The final cultural word is Ayyagaru, which means sir. Ayyagaru is a representative term in Telugu culture, rich with layers of respect, tradition, and social nouns. Here I provide a detailed explanation. Literal meaning and construction. Ayya, a common and respectful term meaning sir, and Lord or Father. It is a analogues to Sri or terms like Swami and Garu. An honorific suffix added to names and titles to show high respect. Ayyagaru, the combination of elevates the respect to a much higher level. It conveys to respected sir, venerable lord or honorable father. The cultural significance and usage. This term is a cornerstone of traditional Telugu antiquity and carries deep social meaning. Supreme respect is, it is one of the most respectable form of address in the language. It is used for elders and gurus to address one's own father and grandfather, religious teachers, or any elders male figures with utmost reverence. Historically, it was used by tenants or servants to address the landowner or master and also zemindar. In religious context, it is often to use addresses or refers to gods, especially local deities, or in devotional poetry. Unlike the more personal Nanna, which means for father, Ayyagaru adds a layer of formality. It conveys respect that is marked by with a certain social distance or profound difference. A son might use it for his father in very formal situations or in traditional families. In modern everyday urban conversations, its use has diminished slightly in favor of simpler terms like Ayya. However, it continues to be strongly present in literature and periodic dramas. It instantly sets a traditional and respectable tone. Village and traditional settings, it is still widely used to show deep respect for elders and community leaders. Irony or humor, sometimes used in a slightly exaggerated way among friends to mock formality like Emandi Ayyagaru, which means, what is it? Examples in sentence, Ayyagaru, మీ ఆశీర్వాదం నాకు ధైర్యం ఇస్తుంది, which means respectable father or elders, your blessings gives me courage. Translation and semantic nouns here, a direct translation like respected sir captures the meaning but misses the cultural weight. Ayyagaru evokes a world of traditional hierarchy, familial pity and agrarian social structures. It speaks to a time and attitude where respect was encoded into the very structure of language. Finally, Ayyagaru, the pinnacle of formal, traditional respect for an elder male. What key points did you gain from this lesson? This sequence of 5 Telugu words is not a random list. It reads like a miniature story, a heartfelt dialogue that maps an emotional journey from the individual self to scared heart of the family. It begins with the foundational word sonta, meaning one's own. That establishes the entire theme, the deep sense of the belonging, possession, and intrinsic connection. It is the feeling that draws everything that follows. That pull of sonta naturally leads to the declaration. Nenu vastanu, I'll come. This is the action born of belonging. A promise or an affirmation of return towards the source of that connection. It is the journey home, either physical or emotional. Upon arrival or in agreement, the word manchidi, good or alright, serves as the affirmative seal. It is the acceptance, the satisfaction, and the harmonious closer to the intention, signaling that all is as it should be within the sphere of the sonta. But to whom is the journey directed? To whom does one belong? And to whom is the promise made? The answer comes into the profound terms of address. First, Ammagaru, the respectful and affectionate call to the mother, the sustaining source, the emotional center of one's own. Then Ayyagaru, the venerable address to the father or elder, is the pillar of the tradition and honored authority. Together, these last 2 words reveal the destination of the journey initiated by the sonta. The coming is towards these revered figures. The goodness is affirmed in their presence. They embody the very essence of what is one's own. Thus, this linguistic sequence beautifully encapsulates a core Telugu culture script. The individual's identity and actions find their deepest meaning and resolution within the framework of the family, anchored by the supreme respect offered to the mother and father, Ammagaru and Ayyagaru. It is a cycle of belonging, commitment, and reverence that defines the journey home. That's it for now. Thank you.